Hello everyone and welcome back to yet another round here in the WLR calendar. We are here now in Silverstone for the British Grand Prix. Well, it's came back extremely quickly, almost out of absolutely nowhere, and we are almost immediately now straight back into some more Grand Prix action. It's me, WLR Gaffo, back again to commentate on this round. Leading the championship, we have Williams driver and Dutchman Jaden, and behind them, a fellow Dutchman in the Ferrari WLR Quattro, both on the grid today. And with 21 points separating them, it's going to be interesting if Jaden can get a really good race here today. He'll be taking a huge step going into the final race before the mid-season in Qatar next week. It's Jake Mate, as you can see at the moment. He's kind of miles out in front there. He unfortunately picked up a huge penalty at the end of the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix and dropped from what could have been a podium with his the person he was battling with picking up a penalty. He managed to pick one up himself, which was even worse, dropping him down to P6 in that race. Still sitting comfortably in the midfield of the table, 16th altogether. Obviously he's behind a few drivers who are standby. The top 7 drivers are all full-time drivers, which is good to see, because I think at the start of the season our championship leader was a standby driver. So we're right on board here with this Jake Mate, who's gonna get underway. He has a good record here in league races around Britain. He's taken pole, I think, in CTCR Season 1 around here, and I'm sure he'd like to do that again as he goes up now towards the first few corners here of Silverstone. As I just get my track map up, as he heads now down the Wellington Straight and through the arena section and now down towards Brooklands, as we'll see now, and now through Luffield. He runs a little bit wide through turn 7, but he's going to get on the power now, and through Woodcote is going to go a long way until Cops. Some can take it flat this game, others may have to lift a bit. It's Jake Mate manages to keep it within the track limits as he heads now into Maggots and Beckett's. Probably where most of your time can be gained is through this part of the track, as he gets on the power nice and early again, does not run wide out of turn 13 through Chapel, and now on the hanger straight down towards Stowe. His lap seems to be going well, although he's taken that in 7th gear. I normally take it in 6th, but who'll take tips from me after my dreadful performance last night? Here he goes now through Vale now, the Aston Martin driver. What will the banker be here in Silverstone? It's a 25.9. It's a really good lap to put him underway. Behind him is his teammate, who goes just a little bit slower. Epic next, again also slower. After that is Douglas or Skifan, who goes 3rd. Next across the line is the Alfa Romeo and another championship protagonist of Bogdan Moldovan, and he goes to the top by a mere 2nd. A brilliant lap, first one to adventure into the 124s. Next across the line will be Owen Curry, who I think is a bit of a second down, but he still manages to get a good lap time and goes onto the front row provisionally. Next across the line, Hyper, also coming around the final corner now. He's been a really good stand-in driver, and he's gone 3rd. Behind him is the hat of TJ Williams. Then it's the Mercedes of F. Parsons, and finally then another Red Bull, this time of Sain Vel, who's gone 7th fastest. SLR Quattro next across the line. What kind of lap time can he set? He goes a little bit wide and can only pick up 5th, as George Ansel goes 2/10 off provisional pole and onto the front row. Next then is the championship leader, Jaden, who currently hasn't started a lap, but he's going to start a lap right about now. And we're right on board with him. I think he's the only driver at the moment who is going to be on a lap, as I think next will be White to go through Vale. We can see him there in the track map in the bottom right, going through Vale, and he starts his lap right around now. But we'll keep an eye on the championship leader, and of course has a pole to his name. He was on pole in Jeddah, and every race he's raced in, he's finished on the podium, and he probably could have won in Monza as well if it wasn't for the red flag, which came at an unfortunate time just as he was about to get by Bogdan. The red flag came out and he could only finish in second with half points. 60 points currently, and a chance maybe to go at that little bit closer and be the first WLR driver to score 100 points. He's the only driver who is halfway there at the moment, and as he's going through Maggots and Beckett's now, we'll see what kind of lap he can set. 1.1 through the middle sector. It's really good, and it's definitely going to be aimed for the front row. Whether it's going to be pole or not, we'll have to find out how quick he is through the final few corners now as he gets on the power and to the line. Jaden goes, and it is going to be the front row for Jaden. He goes second fastest. Next is going to be Bogdan, currently the pole sitter. His teammate White is about to go across the line, and here he goes now to the line, and it's only P11 for the Alfa Romeo. WLR Harrison has a very fast middle sector, one to be proud of. Oh, but he gets a lot of oversteer and probably lost his whole lap there at the end. I think if he had nailed that right, he could have been on for the front row along with Jaden and Bogdan. He's going to have to pit and go again. Roaster will be next across the line, a brand new driver to the league. We'll see, or not a brand new driver, but it's his first race in this league. I think he's been in for a while. He's currently has abandoned his fast lap. Shane Fell has gone on a lap again, and here he goes now to the line, and does improve, but not by enough to jump Caden and get into the 25s, but a good lap nonetheless from the Red Bull driver, as I think EXA Fox is going to be next across the line. Now, he's only raced once, and that was in Hungary, where he led the majority of the race after starting, I think, fourth on the grid. He ended up finishing in second after a last lap overtake from Bogdan, and currently another driver to go into the 101 in the middle sector. So, as long as he doesn't do what Harrison done out of Stowe. Oh, he has done what Harrison's done through Stowe, and he's picked up a lot of oversteer and has probably kind of ruined his lap there. We'll see. He's probably still going to get a good lap time on the board as he heads across the line now. It's only going to be the second row, but I think if that was a little bit cleaner through Stowe, he may have been able to shave maybe 2/10 off it and go maybe onto provisional pole. We'll see later on in the session. The track doesn't seem, or the weather doesn't seem to be as clear as I thought it would be, showing that it may be a little bit of rain coming towards the end of the session. That's why I think that the track is as packed as it is at the moment. Ski Fan, I think, or that's Douglas next across the line, as I think that was, who was that in the barriers? It's SRT Clark, lost it through Maggots and is currently on a trip through the gravel. Caden starts a lap behind him. F. Parsons behind him is Roaster, all starting laps there. I think then there's also an Alpine of Darius about to set his first lap here as he goes through Club Corner, and he goes fifth fastest. An impressive lap as Alpine looks strong here at the moment, definitely the strongest constructor on the grid here around Silverstone so far, as I think that is another Alpine driver of George Ansel starting a lap. Bogdan is the same, behind him I think is SLR Quattro, and after that is Oven Curry, all drivers just starting laps currently at the moment, as I think that's SRT Clark also starting a lap, and then I think that was its Jake mate there also starting a lap. Most people just out there starting a lap at the moment. There is a McLaren coming to the line, that's Ski Fan, and he is up on his time now going through the Vale chicane, but look how wide he's gone there, and he's gone very, very wide, And that's not going to be a good lap at all, as Douglas goes 14th with a 26.3. As I think that's a Haas there of EXA Fox going into the pit lane. And I think that will be the Mercedes of F. Parsons getting ready to set a lap that he has improved a lot on. A chance here possibly to go into the top 5, and he does with a 25.5. Just a bit off the pole time in Tier 2 last night, which was set by SRT Clark. We'll see what he can do. He would currently be 5th if he can recreate that lap that he set last night, as Caden, 16 seconds down, I think is ready just to go again. WLR Harrison about to set a lap, as Bogdan Moldovan is going to come to the line now, and he improves his pole advantage by 1/10 and goes into the 1:24.7s. This is really going to be the time trial almost of most other drivers on this track. Owen Curry is next across the line. His lap is nothing to be proud of. Many other drivers just about to come to the line there now. One of them being it's Jake May, who has invalidated. After that, I think it's going to be Epic, who's gone 13th. And then I think that was Roaster improved. No, it was Jaden starting a lap. Hyper, 15 seconds down. People are struggling here to try and improve their times. And not many drivers currently on a lap at the moment. Let's ride on board with Harrison. I think he's going to be the next driver to cross the line. Definitely look to have some pace on his first lap. Can he maybe recreate it here on his second lap? He's a little bit slower than he was on his first run. Shows that there is going to be still improvement if it comes to the end of the session. Can he get Stowe a little bit better than he previously had done? He can indeed. That was very, very nice there. Through turn 15 as he goes into the Vale chicane now. We'll see if the AlphaTauri driver can improve on anything here. Going through club corner now. Harrison to the top 5. A good lap from the AlphaTauri driver. Definitely made up for the mistake on the first one. And I'm sure he knows himself that there's time in that lap to get a little bit further. I think that's a Williams coming to the line of Jaden. Has he improved? He has, and he's improved, but again, just not by enough to challenge Bogdan. As I think I may see a little bit of rainfall in there. Am I seeing things? I think I am. White is on a lap, and he's 4/10 up on his time. This is going to be a very, very good lap here, if he can get it all right through the final sector. Going through Stowe now. Currently that was a 1.02 in the middle sector. What can he do? Going through the final sector here now. White to the line. It's going to be the top 10, P8 at the moment. Roaster crossing the line, ready to start what probably will be his final run if things go all to plan. Ski Fan seems to have packed a good bit of fuel. He's been out for a while and now he's coming into the pits. After that, Zane, who's invalidated, and behind him is, I think that's Harrison on his cool down lap. Everyone else at the moment all on a cool down lap. So we'll keep an eye on Roaster, what he can do here as he's heading down the Wellington straight towards Brooklands. If he can really do anything to improve. He's currently a 10th down, and a 10th down on a time that's a 28 flat, showing he may not be up to pace here at the moment. He's already abandoned his lap, so maybe showing that he's not quite getting anything right at the moment. Himself and White are the only drivers on the track, but I think there's movement in the pit lane, and that movement is by the Alpine driver of Darius, strolling out of the Silverstone pit lane, and is now going to get ready to start his final lap. So White is definitely going to be calling it close on whether he gets another run or not. And to be honest, I don't think he will. Now we'll have to find out. If so, we'll definitely be the last driver looking at him. Roaster definitely won't have enough time. He's going to have to pretty much hope he has the fuel saved and go again. So we'll ride on board and we'll see what the Williams does. No, he's going again. This is going to be the final lap here for the Williams driver. Currently at his home race, well, the team's home race anyway. I'm not too sure where he's from. We'll see now as he starts his final lap. He needs to improve by over 2 seconds if he wants anywhere near the top 10, and at least 2 seconds if he wants to maybe catch up with the rest of the field. The only other driver not to have set a lap is SRT Clark, but I'm sure if he does get a lap, he will be well and truly in there with the rest. Seemed to have been quite a clean first sector. We'll see now heading down, he's 2 tenths up. So he's definitely showing he's a little bit more pace in this lap than he did on his first and only run. As he's heading now out of Lovefield and through Woodkit now. Can he improve? He's coming into a lot of traffic and he's going to hope that these drivers get out of the way. The Mercedes did anyway, not causing any trouble there. I'm pretty sure that was Clark. Another Mercedes of F. Parsons. Hopefully he can get out of the way here, because most drivers now are going to start to realise that they maybe want to start picking up the pace here. They want to get to the line now and get those tyres heated to the maximum temperatures that they can get them, as he almost goes a little bit too close and invalidates the lap. It's definitely been a bit of a scrappy one. Whether it's enough to get into the 26s and compete with the rest, we'll have to find out through the final corner. It's not. It is an improvement, but it's not going to be enough, as SRT Clark has picked up a 5-place grid penalty, which is not going to help him whatsoever. Darius is the one who started his lap first, so we'll ride on board and see what he can do. White is out on track, but he's only going through Copse now. But we'll see, it'll be close. Can he get to the line in time? Himself and an Aston Martin of, I think that's Caden, although Caden's on a lap and he's 3 tenths up. Now he needs to be a lot further up if he wants to have any chance of getting into maybe the top 5. The top 5 currently is last night's pole lap. We'll see what he can do as he's going through Vale now. How much can the Aston Martin driver improve? The only Irish driver on the grid in Tier 1, as Caden comes to the line and goes P7. A very good lap indeed, as Jaden didn't make the line. He won't be on pole. Next across the line will be Darius, 3 tenths up. Where can he put the car? He goes 4th fastest. Next up, EXA Fox. How much can he improve by? 3rd fastest for him. Next is one of the McLarens, Douglas, P12. After that is going to be Epic. Had an epic race in Jeddah, and he's going P11 there, the Tier 3 driver, showing all his talent. Next across the line will be George Ansell. He invalidated. It's not going to be a 5th pole this season for George Ansell. Hyper goes 7th fastest. Next across the line will be Clark. He goes 17th fastest, with Parsons unable to improve. Next up is going to be Quattro, who's gone wide, and he's let Zane go through, who improved, but not by enough to challenge. Bogdan's come into the pits with all of his confidence. The only person that can deny him is Harrison, who's 2 tenths up. He's going to have to improve by a lot more for pole. We'll see now as he goes through the final corner. Harrison, it's the 2nd row for the AlphaTauri driver. That's qualifying complete. It's Bogdan from his 2nd run manages to take pole from his own garage. Jaden is going to be on the 2nd row. He also didn't go out for a final run. EXA Fox improved enough to get onto the 2nd row and 3rd fastest, and I'm sure he'll still think he's in with a shot of a race win today. Harrison qualified 4th with the last lap of the session, with George Ansell and Darius, both Alpines, are going to occupy the 3rd row. So an interesting qualifying in Silverstone. Not quite the photo finish we were expecting, but a very, very good lap. So, Bogdan, for the first time, is on pole position. Now, he's won a race before. We'll see if he's going to be able to win it from pole. Jaden, who has won 2 races along with Bogdan, starts on the second row. Both of these are definitely going to be the championship contenders for the season. EXA Fox in third with Harrison in fourth. George Ansell in the disappointing fifth, considering he's been on the front row every race this season. Darius in sixth. Hyper for a tier 2 driver in seventh. Brilliant lap from the Irish reserve. F Parsons in sixth with Caden in ninth. Or F Parsons 8th, Caden 9th, White in 10th, Owen Curry 11th with Epic in 12th, Douglas goes 13th with its Jake May 14th, Quattro 15th, Zane fell 16th, Clark 17th, but will drop to the back. TJ Williams, ski fan, at the back with Roaster starting in P19. It's an all sunshine here in Britain. Whether or not there'll be rain to come, well, we'll have to find out. We'll go straight into 5 red lights, and there probably will be a glitch if anyone does leave the session, but I haven't seen anyone complaining about needing an invite or leaving the session yet, so we hope that everyone has just stayed put and are able to just go straight from the get-go without any sort of red flags or disconnections. We'll find out in roughly about 40 to 30 seconds time. So we'll have a look in the YouTube comments up until then. What's happening? Could have won tier 2 yesterday, binned it and broke his win. Yep, well, things like that happen. I'm sure I've binned it and broke my wing many times last night. Clearly showing my pace as I hear it ticking. We've roughly 3 seconds left to go until we start this race. Here we go to 5 red lights here for the British Grand Prix. It's lights out and away we go, and it's a good getaway from Bogdan, who looks like he's going to be able to keep the lead here. Jaden is going to try go alongside. I think EXA Fox has jumped him and got up into second place. It's Bogdan from EXA Fox from Jaden, as EXA Fox is going to go down the inside into turn 3 and manages to keep the lead and stays in the lead through the start. As there's yellow flags in the sector 1, it's Jake Mate and Quattro have lost out on places as Bogdan tries to get back at EXA Fox here as they go now through Brooklands, and maybe Bogdan will be able to get a run now out of Luffield and go down now on the run down towards Cops. It's an amazing start from the Haas driver, who I said will still be looking at a potential race win. Him starting on the softs with I think everyone else on the hards. Definitely getting the best getaway. Whether he can stay in front, we'll have to find out. We can see there's Mercedes making up places there behind, as both Alpines have gained a place, with Harrison dropping out of the points. It's going up there. It doesn't look like anyone's going to try and make a move. These 3 all battling for P5. As F Parsons going to go try go side by side with Hyper, who's got a good start there. There's some desyncs I think going on here between Harrison and White. Harrison is true and up into P9. Bogdan is staying with EXA Fox despite being on those I apologise there as my controller has disconnected. It doesn't look like much has happened anyway, so we are slightly lucky on that perspective. DRS is now enabled. We only had a time down of about a lap. So, as we see now, Bogdan getting a good getaway here and is going to try and maybe get the move on EXA Fox. Being on those softs, Fox is maybe going to actually hope for an early safety car, if that would be at all possible. Douglas has took an early trip into the pits and is on the medium tyres now, so I think there's some change in places there, and I think that's SRT Clark battling with the Alfa Romeo here of White, going through Luffield now. Clark on the outside, White on the inside. White has kept the place. Bogdan getting a good move, getaway here out of Beckett's. He might be able to try and fight back on the Haas. Jaden might be able to fight on the Alfa Romeo as he's going to go and try it, maybe possibly down the inside. He decides to back out of it. These three, well, they were three that have all battled together. The only two out of these that haven't battled is Jaden and EXA Fox. Bogdan and Fox had a brilliant getaway through a brilliant fight in Hungary. And we'll see if they can repeat the same here in the United Kingdom. It's going now up through turn 3 and 4 and 5. And Bogdan, who knows that those softs will start to wear, can he maybe get on the back of this Haas driver and cause a little bit more damage now? He's gaining definitely a lot more, and those hards are definitely starting to come into grips there now. And out of Luffield, he's going to get a great run, and a little bit of a snap from Fox. I could just see it as they head now down towards Copse. Clark and White seem to be having a titanic battle down there, and we'll need to keep an eye on this as they're going through Luffield again. White keeps the place, Clark trying to get on the power and maybe have a go at him again, but it's unlikely he will be able to. Bogdan's going to get a good getaway here, and he's going to maybe try and line up a move now down towards Stowe. The Alfa Romeo driver who was on pole is now into the lead of the race yet again. A brilliant move. Just took his time, and on lap 4 found the moment, and the two-time race winner could make a 3 here as he goes and starts lap 5, this time in the lead of the race. We'll see now, can Fox keep up with him and maybe get back by? Is that someone out and around? It is White, who's off and out of his battle with Clark. Now is Fox going to start to lose time here, or maybe he might just try and go straight back at Bogdan? Not quite for the moment. See Jaden definitely getting a lot closer to the Haas here, and is definitely going to look to try and maybe get a move here. He might go for it now round the outside of Copse. This is going to be a beautiful move. He gets it done. He does. A brilliant move from Jaden. The championship leader has got the man who was leading the race 2 laps ago, is now down and out of P2 and could be out of podium places if George Ansell gets onto the back from quick. An excellent move from Jaden, who's now going to get a go to have a go right back now on Bogdan. DRS opened down the inside, and Jaden, in the space of 30 seconds, has gone from P3 into the lead of the race. The Williams driver winning in his team's home GP currently. Can he maybe now break away and cause a bit of trouble for his championship rivals behind? As George Ansell did get by Fox, and the reason he's got by Fox is Fox has lost it there through club corner. He's out and he's off into the grass, and that's horrible. He's already dropped out of the points now, and the Haas driver, well, it's going to be hard to come back from that as George Ansell has picked up a penalty. Bogdan definitely getting closer again to Jaden. It might be a battle for the first time this season. We might finally get to see these two battle it out for the lead of the race. They're the only two WLR race winners at the moment, and to be honest, I don't see anyone that's going to stop them. As now Bogdan is going to get a nice run here on Jaden. He won't be able to get close enough to pull any sort of move, but he's going to want to try and stay close enough if we can maybe get back by him on the hanger straight. Isn't quite, because Jaden is absolutely flying through Mags and Beckett's, and he has got a good lead away from Bogdan here. Hyper is gaining on Darius here, and Hyper could move into P4 here. They both go side by side through Stowe. Ooh, Hyper's pushed a little bit wide there. He won't like that, as White has picked up a 3-second penalty. He also has the Mercedes of F. Parsons really close behind him now. See, these three may be the three that are going to be the battle to focus on here for the moment, as White has retired in the pit lane only 7 laps into this race. Hyper and EXA Fox has done the same. Hyper getting close here to Darius, and they go through Luffield here. Can Hyper maybe get close and get by and up in the P4 for Red Bull, who have been struggling in Tier 1, only 18 points so far, currently running in P8. The only two teams behind them are Aston Martin and Mercedes, who are, well, let's say, not, are very close behind. They need a strong race, like a P4. 12 points would put them only 0.5 points behind AlphaTauri, although they're doing quite well now themselves this afternoon. Hyper gaining on Darius here on the hanger straight. He's going to go down the inside this time, and he may try and maybe force Darius a little bit wide. Darius keeps the place. Williams and Alfa Romeo, two cars battling for the lead. Both of them also battling for the lead of the constructors, with Williams leading the way with 68 points. Alfa Romeo behind with 47.5. Roasters picked up a penalty for exceeding the track limits, as we're 8 laps into this race and there still hasn't been a safety car. It's been a very, very good race to watch. It's been entertaining. The battles are absolutely all over the track. We're concentrating on the battles for the high positions, but there's battles going on all over the place. Both AlphaTauris having a scrap, and then there's a battle between Roaster, Quattro and Caden down there for, well, one point place off the points. Hyper has a good run on Darius here, who just seems to be defending really well here, holding up for his teammate, although dropping now 3 seconds behind. He won't be on the podium, but he's definitely helping his teammate, who, well, was looking like he was going to have a bit of trouble because of his penalty, and he does seem to be having a bit of trouble at the moment because he's losing a lot of time, as I think Caden Conway had a bit of trouble there. He's back into the lobby. We'll see now as that's Hyper running a little bit wide here, and he's going to leave himself a bit open here to F. Parsons, who just decided maybe just to be a little bit careful. Obviously Parsons and Darius both being registered Tier 1 drivers, Hyper reserving from Tier 2. Both of them may just have the experience to let the Red Bull burn himself out and then make the move. We'll find out. Hyper, as you can see, they're kind of starting to lose time there a bit now. TJ Williams gaining on Epic OJ here. Epic definitely finding it, not really finding it, quite challenging in Tier 1 at the moment. He's been absolutely incredible so far. The Ferrari reserve currently at the moment, but the McLaren full-time driver in Tier 3. It's about time before he does win a race in Tier 3. maybe that might come in Qatar, but TJ Williams maybe a bit too quick for him here. He goes down the inside into Copse and takes the place. Is Caden has retired on track. That is him out of the race, and he'll be out of Qatar as well for that action. As I missed Bogdan getting back by Jaden for the lead of the race. All those battles happened down in the midfield, and I missed the lead of the race battle there. We'll see now. Ooh, actually I think that was Caden disconnecting and his AI retiring. That's just really unfortunate, and there's not much we can really do on that. Yep, so unfortunately that's going to be P18 for Caden Conway. So may I just point out, Bogdan Moldovan has won every race that he has raced in, and that's only the stat I found out now. And I'm pretty sure Jaden is going to be one that is going to be probably the closest behind him, and that's why those two are battling for, well, the race wins at the moment. There's no one else that really looks any bit close to being able to take that off. I'm currently second in the championship is Quattro, but he seems to be struggling a lot and has always seemed to have a bit of trouble in Silverstone in the past. He's currently out of the points. So these two battling, for the rest of the season, I won't really lie to you, I don't see anyone else really winning a race other than maybe EXA Fox, if he can keep his pace going for the majority of the race. Maybe George Ansell as well, considering he has obviously 4 poles or 3 poles to his name so far. He could have possibly was nowhere near having pole though this evening, and is currently, well, out of the podium places because of his 3-second time penalty. We'll have a look at the pit stops and see who has come into the pits and who hasn't. So only both McLarens are the 2 drivers who have made stops, so we'll see who is going to be the first to come into the pits after that. Everyone mostly running the hard tyres. Quattro and Douglas have been on mediums for quite some time now. I'm sure they'll be maybe considering a pit stop sooner rather than later. Then mediums starting to run out normally around lap 12 and 13. But Jaden is gaining on the Alfa Romeo again. He hasn't decided to maybe go for any sort of move here. And both drivers just battling cleanly and getting further and further away from George Ansell, well in the distance of those 2 cars. This battle for 4th place has turned into just a battle for 5th place, and Hyper is defending so much from F. Parsons, currently the new Mercedes full time, and is desperately trying to keep himself going and maybe try and get the place and up into 5th. It will be a strong debut, and we'll see what he can do as WLR Harrison is into the pits, and he's going to be the first to make, well, an actual planned pit stop. Everyone else has kind of, the other 2 McLarens, I'm guessing they weren't scheduled or planned, they just came in and had to make them. F. Parsons now, as we can see, Owen Curry is gaining places here, and there was a little bit of a trading of places there between Bogdan and Jaden, so I may get back to this and see now. Jaden has a good run on him through Beckett's, and I'm sure is definitely going to be able to take the lead of the race here. As this yellow flags, SRT Clark has lost the car, and Jaden, well, has won the lead of the race. Whether he can win the race, we'll have to find out if he can defend for another more 15 laps. These 2 have been trading places pretty much every second lap now. You can see It is definitely getting quite entertaining here as Parsons and Hyper battling side by side here through Vale. We'll see now as Hyper almost pushes Parsons off the track, and I think that's Owen Curry who's tagged the Alpha or the Red Bull around, and Hyper has dropped. Luckily there's so much big of a gap at the moment that he has only dropped down to P7, but Owen Curry is going to be so disappointed with that, and he probably will end up picking up a penalty. We'll see now. He may be able to do damage limitations and just get by Parsons. He's told me that there may be possibly a headache on his behalf, which definitely isn't any help to his race. We're currently halfway through. Again, only one planned stop of WLR Harrison currently running in P16. When will the front runner stop? I'm sure SLR Quattro is definitely going to be thinking of a pit stop sooner rather than later, getting onto those hards, and I think also getting his front wing replaced. As we see Bogdan gaining on Jaden and is looking like he is going to get the move and get up into first place yet again. These two now pretty much trading laps every single time as they both go into the pits here at the same time. Will they be able to slow down in time? They will. Now, they are very, very close to each other. George Ansel stays out, so does Darius, so both Alpines are going long. F. Parsons into the pits, Owen Curry stays out. We'll see now, between these two, who has the faster pit stops. There's no one that's going to be able to hold them up, so it's all about the release time. Who is going to be the quicker one? It's pretty much the exact same. I think Jaden might have been a little bit quicker in the pit stops and managed, but only managed to come out ghosted to him. Now they have lost out to these all battling, as that's TJ Williams going to cross. He's tagged Bogdan. TJ Williams has collided with Epic, and Hyper has flung across the pit lane and has taken Bogdan out. That is a crazy moment, and it's damage for Bogdan as well. That has put the race win all in Jaden's hands now, but I'm sure that slowed down Jaden a lot, and it's possibly going to put George Ansel in a position where he can maybe win this race. This has blown the race wide open for anyone to win. Oh, Jaden, you have such a big chance now on your hands. Bogdan's going to be so angry with what happened there, but there's nothing you really could do because Williams just came out of absolutely nowhere. And that pit lane, well, it's notorious. If you lose it out of one, you've gone straight in to where the pit lane is. And as you can see, he's losing all sorts of time. Harrison has retired on track, so that is going to be probably a race ban for him. As now in comes Darius. Will Darius be able to get the jump on Bogdan? We'll have to see. Bogdan's going to have to hope now for some sort of safety car in order to put his race back on the cards. We'll see now. Bogdan only coming through the Vale chicane. He's back into the pits. He has to get that front wing replaced, and he's probably going to come out in and around P10, and that is really going to affect his race now. Oh, it's absolutely heartbreaking, and he definitely won't keep that record of every race he's raced in he's won. Jaden, I think, could have 2 in a row here if he keeps his composure and everything goes his way. It's wide open for the podiums now with George Ansel with a penalty. I don't know if he's maybe waiting for some sort of safety car. SRT Clark may help him with that. He's been quite all over the place at the moment. And is going to return in P15. And he's also still yet to make a pit stop. And, well, luckily I don't think anyone has been lapped by the leaders yet. George Ansel is now into the pits. Owen Curry is going to stay out a little bit longer. He is going to try and maybe hold off to some sort of safety car so he can come out in a good position. We'll have to see. Epic is also staying out quite long, but he's coming into the pits there now, and I'm sure it's Jake may coming through Mags and Beckett's. Keep an eye on him. He is the last driver in the top 10 to make a pit stop, obviously bar Owen Curry, as George Ansell does come out behind Jayden, and he's going to come out very far behind Jayden, which means that I'm pretty sure as long as there's no safety car, Jayden is going to cruise to this race win by 8 seconds, it looks like, from George Ansell. As Jake May did come into the pits, so it's all now just on Owen Curry on when he is going to come into the pits and make the final pit stop out of anyone in this race. SLR Quattro with rear wing damage as well. That is not going to help him whatsoever. Well, Bogdan is going to start cutting through the pack anyway and at least get some damage limitations here. His wing repaired, he's back up into the points, and now is going to chase down the man who took out his race. That's definitely going to be an instant that's going to be worth looking at between TJ Williams, Epic and Hyper, the destroyer of Bogdan's potential race win, as this championship is only spicing up any bit more. With Bogdan though, it's going to be a climbing a real steep mountain to try and get back at him. As Jayden now, with this win, is going to put him, well, on 85 points and almost 30 points clear of the nearest driver. As that is someone well off into the gravel. It is SRT Clark having a bit of trouble. Lap 17, is he going to maybe consider going into the pits and retiring, or is he going to maybe try and continue on and keep going? He has front wing damage. He's going to continue on, he's going to keep going, keep being resilient, kind of like what I was doing last night, driving around for no real purpose whatsoever other than to get the laps in. George Ansell is going to be under heavy pressure from his teammate, but it's looking like the two of them are going to share the podium, and I think it could be the first time that a team is going to share a podium in Tier 1. We haven't had a double podium sitter yet, and it could be Alpine, who definitely need it, because out of the top three, obviously you'd expect Alfa Romeo and Williams to be up there with them two drivers winning races consistently. But Alpine, despite having George Ansell and Darius, who are both very high qualifiers and achievers in the race, to only be P6, it could definitely be so much better. 10 points off P2, but with a strong finish today, I think they are going to go P2 in the Constructors. And obviously Williams, well, Jayden could be taking home a lot of money by the end of this if he keeps bringing home all these wins for Williams. Himself and Kofi are going to be enjoying life a lot. Clark has gone off there. It's a virtual safety car. He's gone off at Mags and Beckett's. It's an interesting place to go off, but I'm pretty sure I know where he's lost it. And he is out of this race. The virtual safety car won't really put much of effect on anything. Everyone's already made their pit stops, and I think it would be stupid if they'd pit again. And it's the only time this race has actually stopped, I think. Everything has gone so smoothly. There's been no red flags, disqualifications, any sort of drama. It's just been some really, really good racing. I think Bogdan's going to try and get the most out of this VSC and get as close as he can to the McLaren of Skifan and maybe get back by him. He's going to be the one to look after, because when he gets by Skifan, he has 5 seconds to Epic, and I'm sure that's probably about it. I don't think he'll get any bit closer to Hyper. towards the end of the race, and we'll see now on the straight whether he can get close enough to Ski Fan to get by him as soon as possible. Hyper's picked up a drive-through, so he will gain at least one more place, because Hyper's got his delta all wrong and has picked up a drive-through penalty. That's going to hurt him and Red Bull's race. He's probably going to drop out of the points with that. And look at Bogdan already on the back of the McLaren of Ski Fan, who's looking to pick up his first points here. But he's not going to pick up 4 points. He's going to pick up 2. Bogdan into turn 1. Oh no, he's not. He's not into the lead. He's off. He's into the barriers. And he's lost another piece of his front wing. Oh, what has happened there, Ski Fan? Bogdan is out of this race. And that is even more good news for Jaden, who is flying at the moment. I think it's looking like Bogdan . So, with Jaden about to start lap 21, and with 6 laps remaining, it's looking like he's going to cruise to victory. At the moment, there's not much battling going on for any more of the points, other than maybe TJ Williams and Ski Fan battling it out. But with Ski Fan with his penalty for, I think that was speeding in the pit lane, they are going to fall short. Hyper is going to have to come into the pits and serve his drive-through penalty soon as well. If he's lucky, he may be able to come out in a points position, but it's going to look very unlikely. We'll have to see how quickly he's able to get into the pits and serve it. He's in now. He has to serve it at some point, and he's decided the best place to serve it is now. He's going to get jumped by Epic, who's looking like he's going to pick up another top 6 finish 5th in Saudi Arabia, and it's going to finish 6th, I think, here in Britain. Maybe he might have to fill in for Bogdan if he does leave the server. The 2 drivers here, Haas and Al McLaren drivers, battling here through Club Corner. They're both going to get the jump on Hyper, as Hyper, now still trundling down the pit lane, is going to come out around P13. That is his race well and truly ruined. Douglas is gaining on Quattro here. Oh, a little bit of a snap of oversteer though onto the Wellington straight now, and he's not going to be able to get close enough on this straight, but if he can maybe just regain his confidence, have another go then when it gets around to the hangar straight. Ooh, Quattro's hit the DRS board there. That's not going to help. That's not going to help him whatsoever. He's going to be very slow here going down the straight, but he's managed to keep the place. Douglas may try again going into Vale. He doesn't decide to go for it, and well, has just going to try and maintain his composure, starting lap 23 now. If he can get by Quattro, he's definitely holding them up, which isn't going to help not only his race but his own race, with its Jake mate really closing in on both of them. With all the penalties ahead, its Jake mate may be able to snatch not only a point but maybe even two if he can get within the McLaren of Ski Fan. He's already got the second to Roaster, showing he does have pace. We'll see if he has enough. So here we go again, as Douglas is gaining on SLR Quattro. There's yellow flags there. It's Ski Fan. What's happened to Ski Fan? He's off. He's into the grass there on the hangar straight, and he's hit the barriers and has picked up a bit of damage, and there goes his whole front wing. It's too late, I think, for any sort of safety car, but that's too late now for him to finish in the points, and that is the McLaren driver well and truly out of this race. He's into the pits, and I don't know if he's going to finish the last few laps for Pride. I don't think he will. The McLaren driver out of this race. Douglas still battling away there with Quattro, as Jaden in front has started his second last lap of this race. Both Alpines starting to kind of just decide where they're going to finish. Both of them have picked up 3-second penalties now, so I think they've both just accepted that they're going to finish in second and third. They don't want to risk any sort of collision and let the Mercedes catch up to them. They're going to get a very solid points finish. Douglas will have another go here, maybe on Quattro. He only has 2 more chances after this. He's not going to get him on this occasion, and the McLaren driver still has a little bit more to do. But he might have a go here into Vale, because Quattro's ran wide, and down the inside goes the McLaren driver, who may be forced a bit wide, gets a little touch, but he is true, and he's up in the P8. It's Jake mate now, he may just try and stay behind Quattro and may just pick up that P9 finish, or maybe he thinks optimistic and he may want to try and get both cars up in the P8 as he goes down the inside into turn 3, and now through turn 4 as they go through the arena section of the track now. It's looking like everything is kind of evened out. Quattro keeps 9th place, but he may drop out of the points, with Hyper now starting to close between them all. So Quattro may start thinking to himself, I think I could be finished here, as Jaden has just started the final lap of this race. we'll keep an eye on these three for the moment and see what they can do, as Quattro is getting right back close to Douglas. He has rear wing damage according to the YouTube comments, and we'll see if that rear wing damage is maybe going to help him a little bit quicker in the straights with less carbon fibre on the car. The car's a little bit lighter, a little bit faster, and in doing so he's got back up into P8. Whether he's going to be able to keep that or not, we'll have to find out. Douglas, it's Jake, mate. All four of these drivers all battling it out for that final points positions that are up for grabs. But we'll focus on Jayden, who keeps his record on finishing on the podium in every race he's started. He's won the first round in Spain, he won the fourth round in Jeddah, and he's going to win the fifth round in Britain, and is going to extend his advantage in the top of the leaderboard by a large margin as he crosses the line to win the British Grand Prix in Williams, their home GP. A strong race from the Williams driver. It's going to be George Ansell to finish in second with his teammate Darius right behind. It's a double Alpine podium, something they definitely need after what has been a mediocre performance in the constructors so far. F. Parsons on his WLR debut and his Mercedes full-time debut finishes in fourth. A strong point showing for them as well. It is Owen Curry to finish in fifth, with I think that ski fan finishing as well. Epic. Well, he has had two epic races from tier 3 all the way to tier 1. He has been driving sensationally, and he crosses the line here to finish in 6th. TJ Williams, well, a bit of a controversial race with his collision with Bogdan and the rest. That will all be investigated after the race. He finishes in 7th. And it is going to be Quattro to finish in 8th, but he's going to lose out to Douglas and his Jake mate, but is going to keep his points as Roaster finishes in 11th and Hyper in 12th. And that is the end of the British Grand Prix. Well, there's been a lot of controversy gone around Jayden of recently of apparently hacking. Of course, just like Marcel Becker, we've decided to look into that, and, well, there's no breaches in our opinion. He has just drove a phenomenal race, and all down to skill. From second on the grid, it's first place for Jayden. George Ansell finishes in second. One of his strongest finishes, obviously finishing second in Spain behind Jayden, and he's done the same again. Strong finish, 18 points to his potential championship journey. Darius in third with F. Parsons in fourth. Owen Curry in fifth with Epic in sixth. TJ Williams finishes seventh. Douglas in eighth. It's Jake mate in ninth, with Quattro managing to finish 10th after what is a difficult race. Hyper 11th, Roaster 12th, Skifan 13th, Zane 14th, and the rest all retirees. It's been a brilliant race. Unfortunately, a few DNFs there towards the end, which we can't really do much of. But it is Jayden, your race winner again. We'll see you next week in Qatar before our last race before our season break. Until then, I've been Gaffo. Good night.